Hello everyone, this is Dina, and today is July the 11th, and I'm back again. I wanted to just share some happy mail that I got today. This is from Michelle Hudson, and I'll show you the sweet card. Isn't that precious? Just adorable. Anyway, she sent me a card just letting me know I had mentioned that I loved Teresa Wentzler designs, and she had something in her stash she wanted to share with me. So she did, and I'm so delighted. Look at this beautiful pattern here of Christmas ornaments. I just think they're gorgeous. And you know, I'm doing Christmas ornaments this year. I did 6 during Stitch Mania. I don't know, they're so tempting. I may have to do one. But anyway, for my Christmas tree, I will eventually make all of these. Maybe not this year, but I will eventually make them all. I just think they're beautiful. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Michelle. Thank you for thinking of me and sharing some of your stash with me. I appreciate it so much. So I just wanted to share my happy mail with you, and I hope you're having a great week of stitching. And I will talk to you soon when I have an update. Bye-bye. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Today is July 15th, and this is Dina making my first update for the second half of July. And what I have to share with you today is a surprise finish, an unplanned finish, as Megan would say. But I had agreed with my postcard pal from Stitch from Stash that we would do an ornament stitch along on the 15th of the month between now and December, because we both wanted to work on ornaments this year, and we wanted to do something together as partners from Stitch from Stash. And so we decided to do that starting today. Our first stitch along for our ornaments was today. I went back to my favorite the big book of Christmas Quickies here, and you know, I did all 6 of my Mania starts, I think, were from here. So I still had some tabs in here from where I had tabbed all the things I wanted to do for Christmas ornaments out of this book. And the one that I decided to do today, because I was just in a whimsical mood, was this little whimsical Rudolph there with his checkerboard antlers and his little polka dotted hat kind of cocked to the side of his head. I just thought it was precious. And I knew it was something that I could do a quick start and finish. So I went ahead and got started on it this morning, and it's evening time now, about time to have dinner, and so I need to stop now and make arrangements for that, do my cooking. But here's my finish, and this is my cute little Rudolph with his wonky hat and his checkerboard antlers. And I tried to hang the year off of his antlers as a almost like a sign. Anyway, signed it and dated it so that it can go up on my Christmas tree, my ornament tree this year. So I have my 7th ornament for this year. It's my first finish in July, and I'll be counting out. I think it's probably going to be about $2 for Stitch for Stash, but it's just fun to have done it. I've enjoyed it. Terry and I have been sending pictures back and forth throughout the day of our progress. Wanted to share it with you because it is a finish for me for a small here. And I'll just save this fabric and put it back in this magazine, and on next month on the 15th I'll do another one. So I hope you're having a great weekend stitching, and I'm going back to a piece I'm focusing on for a finish and see if I can't make that happen by the end of the month. Anyway, you guys have a healthy and happy weekend. See you next time. Bye. Hello everyone, it is Sunday, July 16th, and this is Dina, and I'm back to share with you some exciting news for me anyway. I have a finish. And my finish is on Children's Garden. And this is the one that I mentioned I was going to focus on a finish this month. And it is one of my Year of WIP pieces. So I wanted to let you know I started it back on August 27th, 2016. And I started it for the ABC sale that was going on at the time. I think it's still going on because I work on it every month at that time. But looking at my Year of WIPs, I felt like I had one that was close enough that I could focus on a finish, and I wanted to eke out another finish. And so I did, and I started focusing on this Children's Garden, and I worked on it an extra amount of time. I've worked on it twice this month instead of once, and I have given it several days, 5 days actually. I was counting. So my Children's Garden is done, and I'll share that with you now. And here it is. Here's my finish. I think they are precious little children. They have the sweetest faces, and I love the colors. It's deep and rich, and with the exception of the center section where the alphabet is, it is full coverage. So it's been one of my closest pieces to full coverage that I've done in a long time. But you can see they're raking up their little flowers there. And I tried to put my signature on here. See if I can show it to you. Very small, so it wouldn't detract, you know, from the piece. But I think that looks fairly good. I like the colors. I think they're vibrant. They're extremely rich and deep. So I like that. And there's very little back stitching in here. If you don't like back stitching, I think I've mentioned that before. But very little back stitching in the piece. So I wanted to share a little bit of information with you about this piece. It took me 153 hours to complete the piece. Now, I'm not a super fast stitcher. Some of you think I am, but it's not that. It's just that I spend time. It's the time I put in it, not necessarily the speed. But I really love this Marilyn Leavitt-Inblum piece, and it was released under the Butternut Road patterns. If you're looking for it, I think it's still, you know, very much out there. And it was on 28 count Lugana, and the colorway is Frozen Fractals. And it was purchased from Hand Dyed by Stephanie, if you wanted to see the sky, the blue. It's a little bit mottled, but it's just beautiful, and I think the background for this piece was perfect. If I had stitched it this way, I probably would have had half of this piece left over. But I think this is one of my first pieces I've done on that I started on hand-dyed fabric, and I wasn't really familiar yet with the sizes and whatnot, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty, you know, of fabric to frame it with. So that's my finish on Children's Garden. And so you guys have a wonderful week next week of stitching, and I look forward to talking to you soon with a WIP update. Bye. Hello, Floss Tube. Good afternoon. This is Dina, and today is Wednesday, the 19th of July, and I'm here for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to respond to Tracy P's request that we go back and look at our first Floss Tube video and do a Floss Tube flashback version where we talk about what we said in that first video and how different is it today, and how we may have changed over the time, or we're just flat out wrong about something that we thought. So I'm going to do that for you today, but I also wanted to share with you a WIP update. This is just one of my long-term Year of WIP projects, and I've finished my rotation on it today, and so I just wanted to give you an update on how far I was able to get this time. So this is my Sleeping Beauty. I think most of you will remember this one. We've been looking at it for quite a while. It will be quite a while longer. It's a long piece. It's a big piece. I was just looking at it myself to kind of see where I'm at, and I am thrilled to see where I am. So I'll show you my progress, and then I'll put the picture back up and kind of show you where it is in the overall piece. But this is the Sleeping Beauty. And here's where we are now. I'll start back here so you can kind of get the overall feel. You can see the line where I've kind of worked my way across the last time. And then this time, as you can see, I started working in this corner. And what I did this time was just a little bit different. I still wanted to make sure that I was able to complete 2 rows of 10, blocks of 10. But I also just kept on using whatever thread I was using if the color continued. You can see it goes down below the second block. So I just would use it until it ran out. And that way it continued the color, the line of the color, and it just made me feel like I was getting even a little bit more done. And in this part of the chart, the things that I'm stitching are draped downward, you know, off the bed. So to stitch it a little bit downward just allows you to have a bigger block of stitching. So right in here, for instance, when I was stitching this sections in here, you can see they just go straight down almost when you're stitching. And so, and a lot of these colors were the same. And so if they were really close to each other, I'd go ahead and skip on over there and get that one done as well. And I would run out of thread way up here, so that's why some of these have a bit of a longer tail, because I had more thread, you know, to get rid of before I stopped stitching in that color. So just to give us an idea, where does that put us in this picture? So there we go. You can see the tassel. You can see part of this right here that I've come across. So this is about where I'm at, right in here. So lots of heavy stitching still left to do. This is a much fuller stitching down here than it was up here. So I'm at the real bulk of the stitching right now. But I love these long, you know, long strands of colors, you know, where they're going across there. So I'm hoping if that continues, that it'll help me get a good progress going across. It's generally taking 3 rotations to go all the way across, and I think I'm still on track probably to do that. But I would like to show you this. There are some real big spaces starting to develop in here, right in here. A little right here, there's a row here, and there's a really big area here and here. Beads. So I can see where there's going to be some heavy beading on this piece when we're done with the stitching. But it is still a fabulous piece to work on. I love her. I think she's beautiful. And the fabric, I've said it almost every time, feels like butter. You're just stitching through butter. It's a beautiful Joblin. So, and I'll tell you the color one more time is Stormy Skies. So again, Kate, thank you. This was one of my first, I think it was the first thing I ever won on FlossTube as far as anybody's giveaway. And it couldn't have been a nicer gift. So I really have enjoyed it. And so I'll just roll that up. Okay, so that is my WIP rotation that I finished today. And so the next thing I wanted to tell you about is the floss tube flashback that Tracy asked us to do. If you have not watched her whip parade, I think it's in 2 parts. I caught the second half live, so I need to go back and watch the first half. But in the second half, she asked all of us that would to go back and review our first video that we'd ever make. And then to take notes, or either if we could do voiceover, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that. So I watched it. I watched it today. It was 24 minutes long. And I can remember thinking that that was too long. And now a lot of my videos are 45 minutes to an hour. And I do everything I can to keep them shorter, you know, because I guess we start really developing a relationship with people that we know, and we're talking to each other and sharing what we've been doing, and we're more comfortable. So it's just really like sitting down and having a conversation together. So that's what I'm going to do today, is just talk to you about it. If you haven't seen the first video and you want to go back and watch it, you can watch for these things if you do. But if not, I don't think you will. It won't be a problem for you to understand what I'm talking about. They're pretty obvious. The first thing I noticed in the first video that has changed for me was that I had discovered the parking method. I had binged watched Carolyn Mazzio's videos when I first found FlossTube, before I found a lot of other people. She was just the first one I found, and I watched everything out there that she had. One of her videos taught her parking technique, and I was working on Smoky Mountain Christmas, and it was a big project, and I tried the parking method when I first started that piece, and I was loving it. It was just so new, and it looked to me like it was really going to help me get through that piece. And I did my video, and I talked about how much I was enjoying it and how much I loved it. And I kept using that method throughout the first part of that whip. And as time went on, I realized that I really, once I got enough threads in the piece to where I could start something by running a few stitches under if I couldn't do a loop method, that I really didn't need to park anymore. And I think the whole purpose that I was trying to park for was that I was trying to use my floor stand that I had, my old floor stand, and what I didn't like was the floor stand. And I thought it was that I didn't like the parking method, but that wasn't it. It was the floor stand I didn't like. I couldn't flip the floor stand up to tie anything off. So the parking method and the waist knots and all that was helping me a lot. But the floor stand was not comfortable for me. And I wound up taking it off the floor stand and putting it back in a Q-snap. And when I did that, I didn't need to park anymore. I just didn't need to. And so I wound up abandoning my parking method. So I haven't used it since. That's been over a year. So I have got some things on a floor stand. I'm still not using a parking method. I just haven't had to. I don't do a lot of full coverage. I do very little full coverage, as little as possible. That's just not for me. And so I don't tend to need it. I guess if I did full coverage, I probably would have to use it. So the biggest change, I think, right off the bat, is that I found this new method and I tried it, but because of the way I stitch and the projects I work on, I haven't had to really use it very much. But I was gushing. Oh, I was just thrilled about it. I was in love with it. It just tickled me at how excited I was, to have found it. And the second thing I found a little bit humorous was that I announced my first rotation ever, and it was 4 pieces. And I was just really tickled that I was working on 4 different pieces. 2 I shared, and 2 were gifts, and so I couldn't share them yet. Now, they're shown much later in later videos. But I was really tickled to have 4 pieces that I worked on 7 days each. So each one got a week. And I thought that was just wonderful. You know, I was really tickled. And little did I know that a year or so later that I would be up to 10 WIPS just so I could participate in the year of WIPS. I had to actually start to because I had only progressed up to 8 WIPS. So some of you who have hundreds, you know, you can just chuckle because I can't manage that. I just cannot get my hands around it. I still like to be able to stitch on all of my WIPs every month, if at all possible, unless I am doing a focus on a finish or a gift for someone that has a deadline. You will probably see throughout the course of the month, between the 2 videos that I do, you'll see everything I'm working on. So I just still like to do that. So I'll keep my WIPs pretty small for now. Now, okay, Tracy, in a year I'll come back and look at this video and see if it's still true. But that tickled me as well. And then the other thing that I got just a real jolt out of was that I showed my very first set of needle minders that I made. And I had gone to Hobby Lobby and gotten these big black magnets. They're about this big around because that's all I could find there. I didn't know how to order, you know, the other magnets online that were the little tiny earth magnets. Didn't know how to do any of that yet. Just went and got those big old black magnets and my needle minders that I showed a little grouping of them. You can see those big black magnets, and then my little pins that I was using are sitting there, and you see more of the black magnet than you see of the pin on a couple of them. I just laughed out loud. I still have them. I'll show you one of them. I have it right here. I'm using it. I used it on my board here where I keep my pattern propped up, and I use it for my needle minder, and I use it for my, you know, minder for my needle threader. But this was one of my first ones, and you can see it's a black sewing machine, but look at that giant magnet. I still use it because it was one of the first ones I made, and it just stays here at home. But these magnets too, I will tell you, because they're darker like this, you have to clean them before you put them on your fabric, because they'll put marks on your fabric. And so I don't use these at all anymore, and that's why this is on a metal board and not on any fabric. I won't ever use those on fabric because I don't know if you have to use them, if you have to clean them every time, you know, or what. But to show you that I have learned, I have improved, this is my latest needle minder. I showed it off on my channel as well, and I had a hard time with it because the magnet, I had to get it far enough away from this little dragon down here to keep from pulling it up against the magnet. So the top of the magnet does show just a hair right here, but I had to get it that far away so that my little dragon would be free, you know, to do what he wants to do. But you see, I'm using much smaller magnets now. Anyway, so that one tickled me as well. So we grow and we learn, you know, as we go. Even those of us who are sharing with you on FlossTube, what we have learned in a year's time can be amazing. And so I just want to thank Tracy for the idea. I had not watched my first video since I put it out there, and so that was kind of interesting to see, and to see how stiff I was because I was so nervous. And I just feel so much more relaxed with you guys now, and I hope you feel relaxed when you watch me as well. So thanks for checking in with me today, and let me take up a few minutes of your time and showing you my Sleeping Beauty. And I'll be talking with you in a few days to show you my next progress. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Today is Sunday, and this is Dina, and I'm here to share with you what I've been doing this weekend. It's July 23rd, so about a week left in the month, and this weekend was a bit of a jumbled up schedule. A little bit of family news here. My husband's sister lost her spouse of 34 years last week, and The funeral was Saturday. My husband was asked to speak and sing at the funeral, which he did. And so we spent a good bit of time, back and forth with the family and being supportive in that regard. And so it wasn't a lot of time left, really, in that day for much stitching. But in addition, this weekend we've had some fun times as well as those that are a little more challenging. We went to a play, Sweeney Todd, the Barber of Fleet Street. It's a dark comedy, and some of you dark stitchers would probably love it. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But this was a local theater, and a very dear friend of mine who actually played the piano for my husband to sing at the funeral, her son was one of the leads. He was Anthony in the play, and it was his first lead role in the community theater. He does it as a hobby. He works at Mercer University here in the nearby town of Macon, Georgia, for his real job. So this is his enjoyment, but he has a beautiful voice, and he did a wonderful job. The whole cast did. It was lovely. We got to see that, and so that was also kind of a nice happening the weekend, but took some time, out of my normal hours on the weekend that I usually get to stitch. So I made the decision to stop stitching for the weekend and get some project bags made, some project envelopes made that I've been wanting to try out. So I cranked up Vanna's tutorial and I reviewed it and took some notes, and I went looking through my fabric stash, and I found a beautiful piece of fabric that I had left over. It was a remnant from the quilt that I made my sister Stephanie when I cross-stitched her monogram by Jim Shore, the Jim Shore letters, and I had bordered that monogram with a couple of different colors, 3 colors, and I had backed the quilt with a different fabric, and so I had some of that fabric left over, and I love it. So I pulled it out and I made a project envelope. So this is my little project envelope with the quilting material that I had used for one of the borders on my sister's quilt, and it is lined with what I used as her backing fabric for the quilt. And so I think the pouch is beautiful. It turned out really well. I just want to thank you, Vanna, for such a good tutorial. It was easy to follow, easy to understand, and I had success on the very first try. It's not perfect, but it's for me, so that's okay. But I was so delighted at the results of that, I decided I would try my hand again. And I had some fabric in my stash that I had purchased a while back, and the purpose that I purchased it for did not materialize, and so I thought, what am I going to do with this fabric? I bought it based on someone else's taste and what would go well for what I was going to make for them, and then as it turned out, they didn't need it. So I decided I would just leave it in my stash, and maybe someday I would use it. So I got that out. But my purpose was that I love this size pouch. I love this project envelope. It's good for almost everything, except I like to use a longer Q-snap on some of my pieces that I work on that need more of a rectangular shape of working surface. I already have something on my floor stand that's on there till I finish it, and I have something on my lap stand that's going to be on there till it's finished. And so I use my Q-snap for things like Ashley's Roses, and I'll be using it for Nantucket Rose because I'm not taking things off my floor stand every time I swap projects. So I got out my larger rectangular Q-snap, the largest one I use for big projects. It's this one. I put this one together. I'm like Sherry Burkett, I have a drawer full of these things, and so I make the sizes that I like, and this is one of the ones I use. So I use this to determine the size of my next project envelope, and I just made an envelope that this would fit in. So I have a tall envelope. Use the same dimensions, the same pattern and everything. I just made it longer so that when I turned it up, I could just turn it up to fit this key snap. So this is the fabric I had in my stash that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. And this was the contrasting fabric I had purchased to go with it. And I just think it turned out really well. And one of the things I like about this is even though it's taller, it's the same width as the regular pouches. And that's important to me because I store these pouches, these envelopes, I think it's Vonna calls them project envelopes. I store them in a big basket in my closet so that my project bags are all standing up in there together. Well, if they're the same size, wide, they'll all stack beautifully and stand up in that basket. If I made it this way to fit, and I had purchased a bag that was large this way and it didn't fit, and I had to turn it up on its side anyway, and then everything kind of falls over. So I just liked this idea of making it taller, and so that's what I did. So I'm playing around with the sizes just to make it a little different. So that's what I've accomplished this weekend, and it's been so much fun. And again, Vonna, thank you for a great tutorial. And I encourage you, if you can sew a straight stitch on a sewing machine, you can make these pockets. They're not hard. Vonna shows you every step of the way. So I encourage you to try it. Try your hand at it, and follow it exactly if you want a regular size envelope, and then if you need one a little bit bigger, you can do what I did, just make it a little bit longer. Then you just have a bigger pouch. It's wonderful. Thank you all for letting me share with you what I've been able to accomplish this weekend. It's been a busy weekend, and I'm so tickled to have gotten something done and completed. Makes me feel productive. And now I have my project bag ready for Nantucket Rose for August 1st. So I'm real excited about that. I can't wait to get that one started. And I have my new project bag that I'm going to be putting my Ashley's roses in. So my two new projects have a home, and I'm real happy about that. So I hope you're having a fabulous weekend. I hope you get to have a wonderful time of stitching, and that you have a great week next week. So until I talk to you again, happy stitching. Bye. Hello everyone, it's Dina, and today is Tuesday, July 25th. And I just wanted to give you a really quick update on what I've been doing for the last couple of stitching days. I have been preparing to start a new start, Nantucket Rose. And the way I've been preparing it is I made a project bag for it, which I just showed on a previous little clip. This is the one that I'm going to put Nantucket Rose in. I thought all the pinks would look pretty together. And what I have done to prepare, in addition to I've already had my threads kitted up, but what I've also done now, I just finished today, this evening, is I have gridded my fabric with my sulky sliver. And I just wanted to show Trisha, thanks for sharing with us your painful discovery about fabrics painted on one side and not the other, because this is such a beautiful gray mottled piece until you turn it over and it's white. Just a plain white fabric. So anyway, I'm really delighted that I started this on the right side, and I did check because of you sharing what had happened to you. So thank you for being brave enough to share that with us. Anyway, I am all ready, and if you haven't by chance heard about our stitch along, there's just a group of us in Facebook that have an event out there that's the Nantucket Rose Sal, and you can join if you would like to stitch on this pattern. We are going to start August 1st, stitching this little lovely lady here. And there are some who have already started it before and they haven't gotten very far on it. And so they're going to just join the sal so that they can get some work done on this piece. But we are going to start August 1st, start stitching it, encouraging each other, posting our progress as we go. And it's not a separate group, it's just an event in Facebook. And I figure we'll leave it out there until most people have finished or fallen away, whatever they choose to do. But I hope you'll join us. And if you have this in your stash or want to stitch it, you still have a little time to get ready. And we're going to start August 1st, so come join us. That is what I've been getting ready for in the last couple of days. And now I just have a few days left in the month of July that I can do last minute stitching. So I'll talk to you in a few days. Bye. Hello there. How are you doing today? I'm Dina and this is Wednesday, July 26th. Today is a sal called Now I Know My ABCs, and it's been going on for quite a while, so it's nothing new to those of you who've been watching it in FlossTube and participating. But if you've been watching my channel, you know I have been stitching the children's garden since 2016, I think, to be a part of that sal, and I finished it, so I had to have something new. And I also noticed that as I was looking at sales for next month, that I have a sale coming up that's a stitch-a-thon, and it is going to be on August the 11th, which happens to be a day I will be at a stitching retreat, so that's perfect because we stitch all day into the night. In that stitch-a-thon, they've asked us to stitch on a piece that has to do with cross-stitching. It's actually about cross-stitching. So I looked in my stash to see if I had something that might qualify for both that I could start today and then have it ready to work on at the retreat. And I did. I'm so excited to share it with you. This is called The Fruit of My Labor Stitcher. And it has an alphabet and numbers at the top, and then it says Stitcher in Residence. And then at the very bottom, it just says, the fruit of my labor is tomorrow's heirloom. So I thought that was really pretty. This variegated looking border here is in a water lily, a Karen water lily. And it's called Cranberry, and I want to share it with you. This is Cranberry. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I got so excited when I opened this up and saw all the variegation on there. It's just beautiful. So I'll show you my start today. I started this for the ABC sal, and I want to show you how pretty that thread looks. Look at that. The border is in the Karen water lily. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. I'm really enjoying this. So I've started it today. It's a new start for this month, and I will be stitching on it today for the sal, the ABC sal, and then wherever I finish tonight, that's where it'll be until August the 11th when I use it for the stitch-a-thon, so that I qualify for working on a piece that has to do with cross stitching. So this is from Foxwood Crossings, and I think some of you may already know that the lady who designs Foxwood Crossings patterns is the owner of a needlework store in Pigeon Forge called Dixie Darlin. And she is also the designer that does all of these little sleighs, the patterns that you stitch and then you put on the little tiny sleigh ornaments. It's the same person. So this was one of her larger pieces in her shop, and it comes with a little stand for you to mount it on. Well, I shouldn't say it comes with it. It's available, and this has information in how to order that if that's how you choose to display it. But I just wanted to pop on here and tell you about my new start. This fabric is a 28 count Joblin, and it's in the color Water Lily. And that's really a good representation of it. It's just a light green. It's really pretty. And I got it at Dixie Darling when I picked up this pattern. I actually bought it to go with this piece. So I didn't want the white background. I wanted the paler green. So I think that'll look really nice together. So that's my new start for today. It helps me participate in both sales. So hey, that's 2 birds with 1 stone. That's pretty good. I was happy about that. If I get a chance, I'll may pop on again this evening just to show you where I end for the day. I have a little bit of more stitching time here until dinner time. I don't know how much more I'll get after that, but whatever I wrap up with, I may pop back on here and just show you where I got to today, and that way you'll know that's where I'll be starting on the 11th of August at the stitching retreat. So I hope this day is going very well for you, and hope you're getting a lot of stitching in. Until we talk again, happy stitching, everyone. Bye. Hello again. I didn't expect to be back so soon, but I went to the mailbox today, and I had Happy Mail. Isn't this excited? Look at that face. This is from Joe Gregoire, and a gift, a giveaway on her channel, and I got it in the mail today. Oh my goodness, this is a lot more than I was expecting. This is what I won. I won a Nora Corbett pattern, and this is the Bells of Ireland. Interestingly enough, we have Irish ancestors, so I think that's awesome that I have this one. And here's the bead pack to go with it. I love these colors. Absolutely love them. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe. And then she surprised me and she put some other stuff in here. Let me see. Young at heart, slightly older in other places. This is great. Oh, it has fabric and beads and everything. There it is, young at heart. That is so true. Oh, Joe, that is so true. Oh, I like this one. Whine a little bit. You'll feel better. Isn't that great? That is so cute. Love it. Love it, love it. And then, oh my goodness, I got a little wrapped up package here. Oh, I was just thinking this morning, just this morning, that I needed to throw away some of these original needle minders that I made, because if you'll recall earlier in this video, I talked about how terribly they were made, and I noticed that one of them, that the magnetism is even dying on it. It's not holding even a needle threader very well. This is the little tiny thing it's not holding very well. And when I put it on there, it actually slides, almost as if it's going to slide off. So I was thinking that I needed to, you know, decide what I wanted to make and make some new needle minders, and that I needed to get busy and do that. Oh, great. Oh, love all of these. Okay, so let me show you what Joe put in my package today. Joe, you're awesome. Look at these. Look at these. They're so cute. Beautiful cup and saucer. Beautiful. Love this owl. Love the colors. Beautiful heart. And a fairy. A butterfly. Love these colors. These are my colors. As you can tell, I have on blue and purple today. So cool, Joe. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so generous. Look at this heart, has a bow on it. Can you see it? Okay, well, I'm excited. I am set. It's like Joe read my mind this morning, but she mailed this before, so she kind of knew what was coming, huh? Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Joe, and let you all see my happy mail. That was my winning of the giveaway that Joe did on her channel not too long ago, and I'm just tickled to death to get it. Thank you, Joe. And I love this. When I got this out of the mail, I just laughed out loud. Anyway, even my Happy Mail has personality. That's awesome. Okay, everybody, back to stitching. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is Tina, and it is the 27th of July. This is Thursday. And yesterday I had a new start for the ABC sale that's on the 26th of each month. And I showed you my new start, and it was this Foxwood Crossings piece, the fruit of my labor. And I started it for 2 sales, as I mentioned, but the main reason I started it was for this alphabet at the top. And I was going to come back last night and show you where I stopped, and then I thought I'd wait till today because I had the privilege of stitching virtually with some ladies today. And Becky from the Obsessed Stitcher in California, and Vanna from the Twisted Stitcher, myself, and 2 friends, Janet, who you hear us talk about all the time, and a new friend from Canada, Joanne. We all got online together through Facebook and virtually stitched together. So I just kept working on this piece today because I had it out and was working on it last night and didn't want to put it away. So this is where I got to today. I'm really pleased with my progress. It's going very quickly. You can see more of that beautiful variegated thread going down the border, and I'm decided I'm going to do my border down, all the way down, across, and back up so that it stays going in the same pattern that the thread variegates in all the way around the square. It has 2 bands of specialty stitches across with that thread too, above and below the numbers, so that looks really pretty there. And I'm working now on the second set of trees, and I've had to make myself stop because the other reason for this piece is the stitching marathon on August the 11th, and it's supposed to be a piece about cross stitch, and this of course is about a stitcher, and so I want to save it for that day. So I have to put it up, or I'm going to keep going till I finish it, I'm afraid, because it is so much fun to stitch. It's going very well. It's a small pattern, so it's moving quickly, and it just has a few colors. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DMC colors, and then this beautiful Karen water lily there. And it's such a small grouping of colors, I didn't even put it in a plastic little box that I normally kit all of my projects with, because it was just, 5 little cards in that box. It's just way too empty. So this is just all I'm having to do for my threads this time. So I just wanted to come and show you how far I had gotten, and tell you how much fun it was today to stitch virtually. If you haven't tried that, if you're friends on Facebook with people that you know around the world that you want to stitch with, you can just go in the messenger portion of Facebook and create a group and add those friends into your group, and then you can do a video chat with them, and when you do, it adds all of you together and you can see each other, all of you, on the screen. One of the ladies today said it sort of made her feel like she was on the Brady Bunch, because you could see each person in a different square. But it's a great way to stitch with someone without having to travel, especially if you're far away from your people that you want to stitch with. So I encourage you to try it. We had a good time with it today. It's not perfect. Sometimes the connection won't be good and one of you will drop off and you have to call back in, but it's easy to do. And I would encourage you to try that sometimes. That's where I got today, and I'm going to make myself stop here. so that I don't run out of my project before the 11th of August when I need it again. So that gives you my my latest WIP progress from my new start just earlier yesterday. I've enjoyed it. It's a wonderful little stitch. So I hope you're having a good week. Tomorrow is Friday, and so you're headed into the weekend, and I hope you have great plans. I hope you get to stitch quite a bit and get some rest, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Good morning. We're about to do the drawing for the winners of my giveaway for the 2,000 subscribers. And I just want to thank you all again for participating. And before I do that, I just had to let you know that over the weekend, my husband, son, and I were shopping at Costco, and we ran into Pepe's cousin, Bearegard. Just wanted to let Pepe know he's doing well. McKenna, just tell him you said hello. He was working at Costco, and he was marketing some statues that he had made of himself, posable statues. Bearegard is a pirate. And so at first my son thought it was Pepe, and we went running to say hey to Pepe. And when we got there, we realized that this was a pirate with a peg leg. And he introduced himself as Pepe's cousin, Bearegard. So I'm going to insert a picture. He let me take a picture of him at work, and I'll insert that for you here. And then we'll get started on drawing the winners. But I just thought it was important that Bearegard get a message to Pepe that he's doing well. Let's get on to the business of the day. Okay, here we are at Costco. Pepe's cousin is selling statues of himself. He's got his little pirate friend on his shoulder. Oh, that's his little pirate bird. Hello everyone, it is July 31st, and today is the day that we select the winners of the 4 different prizes that we're using to celebrate the 2,000 subscribers for the channel. So I hope that you have sent in your comment before today and are anticipating your name being called. Good luck to all of you, and thank you so much for participating. I'm going to turn the camera around so that I can show you each prize and then show you the random number generator as we pull the numbers. Talk to you in a minute. Okay, this first drawing is has 35 potential participants here, and this is for the mouse pad. This is your pattern with the vinyl and the mouse pad holder. So let's go ahead here and hit generate, and we'll see who wins it. The number there is 9. So we'll go to our spreadsheet here, number 9. Cat Crazy Creations. Sonia, congratulations, you have won the mouse pad. Okay, so we just finished with the mouse pad. Now we're going to move on to cake. And cake, if you'll recall, is the Country Cottage Needleworks package with the floss. And there were 78 potential participants for that, so we will generate a new winner. Oh my goodness, 78! Okay, let's go see who number 78 is. Here's the spreadsheet. Kelly Sluter. Kelly, you've won the cake pattern and threads. Okay, we will move along now to the 2 pieces of fabric. These are the 2 linens. This is an R&R linen called Beach Blend, and it's a 30 count fabric. And the other one is Dusty Rose, and it is 28 count linen. So we will look here. There are 126 people who indicated they were interested in that. 126. So go up here and put 126 in the number generator and hit generate. And that is number 80. And we'll go back over here and look at my spreadsheet. And number 80 is number 80. Kelly Bell. There you go. Oh, Kelly, I'm so excited for you. That's wonderful. I hope that you will enjoy that fabric. Okay, now I guess this is the big one that everybody was most interested in, because we had, let's see, 167 people that wanted to participate in that. 167. So we'll do 167 as our potential here. 128. 128. 128 is Susan Bojdek. Susan Bojdek. You are the lucky winner of the Plum Street pattern of Not My Brother's Keeper with all the threads. Congratulations. Oh, everyone, thank you so much for your kind comments and for participating. Congratulations, winners. I'm so excited for you. So, Susan, if you and Kelly Bell and Kelly Sluter, Kelly was a lucky name today, and Sonia from Cat Crazy Creations, please just get in touch with me and let me have your mailing address. I'm going to put my email address below so you can send me your mailing address privately through my email. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, feel free to message me, but try to get me your information as soon as possible so I can get these in the mail to you. If I don't hear from you within a couple of weeks, I'll draw a new winner. If I can reach you, I will try to reach you by sending you a message, but I just want to say congratulations to each of you for your winning today, and thanks to everyone for being a subscriber. I appreciate you all more than I can say, and have a happy day stitching. Goodbye.